Hey, what's up guys? Matt here with Fix Anything Save Money. Today we're going to be covering a topic that gets brought up randomly on my channel, and one of the more frequent questions I get asked, and that is, why does my chain tighten after I use my saw for a little bit? People will say that they, will set their chain to a certain tension, they'll run their chainsaw for 15-20 minutes, and then they'll notice that the chain is super tight. So we're going to be covering a couple reasons why that might happen, and then the fixes for why that would be happening. So the first reason, the most common reason, is most likely you do not have enough bar oil in your machine. So what happens if you don't have enough bar oil and it runs out, this bar is going to heat up and it's going to expand, and it's going to make your chain super, super tight. So you always want to make sure that you have your reservoir is full with bar oil, and it's also functioning properly and lubricating the bar properly so that your chain is getting enough oil, and so that there's not an increase in the friction making this bar expand and making your chain overly tight. Because what that's going to do is it's going to warp your bar, and it's going to cause all sorts of issues. It could, make it pretty much so that you need to replace the bar entirely and the chain. So make sure you have oil in the reservoir, and I'll put a link on where you could pick up bar oil that I really like to use. It's a great deal. You get like a gallon of it for, I think it's like $17, $18. So I'll put a link on where you could pick up bar oil for these machines. And then if you do have oil in it and you're still noticing that tightening after you run the saw, we're going to go ahead and remove the cover and show you what possibly could be happening. So we'll just remove these two bolts, or these two nuts, I mean. And then we're just going to go ahead and remove this cover. You might have to loosen this screw right here. This is the tensioning screw. This tightens the actual chain. And then these pretty much just clamp everything down into place. So if your reservoir is full, something that might be happening is, we'll take this right off. So we'll show you guys exactly what we're looking for here. So in here, this is the oiler system behind this little metal housing. So you could just pop that off. That just comes off. And then that gives us access to our oiler. So like I said, if you have oil in it and it still seems like it's not getting the oil, or the chain is still tightening, it might be an issue with this oiler not working, or most likely it's just clogged with stuff. So just make sure that this is clean. If you need to, get an air compressor and just blow it out. Make sure that there's no debris in there, because that could be one of your issues. Okay, so we'll put that back on. And then another thing it could just be that your cover might be warped or damaged, and it's causing it not to function the way that it should. So we'll just go ahead and we'll put this all back on. And then we'll also show you how I like to tell. We'll also show you the type of tension that I like on my chain, so I know that it's not too loose or too tight. Okay, so you can see here we're obviously too loose, so you could just go ahead and just manually slide this bar up. Okay, and then we're going to just put our cover back on, and you can see here how this works. So you could see these two holes right here, these are for these bolts right here, and then this screw right here, that's what actually moves our bar back or forward. And that's what actually tightens the chain once everything's hooked back up. Okay, now we could lock it down into place. So like I said, if you tighten one of these down too much, this could push this cover one way or the other, and that could cause issues. But like I said, most likely your problem is you don't have oil, in the reservoir, and that's what's causing your problems. Okay, so now that we have our cover tight, I will show you how tight I like to make the actual chain. And then we'll go over some other possible causes why this chain might be tightening on you. So then we're just going to go ahead and take this adjustment screw. We're going to tighten down our chain. And then you may just need to loosen this back up to pull everything forward. You can see that sucked it in. And then we can go ahead and tighten it back down. Okay, so our cover's on, it's flush. Our chain is still a little loose, so we could go ahead and tighten it. And what I like to do, I'll get it to where I like it, and then I'll show you exactly what it looks like. So the main thing is you don't want the chain sagging down below the bar like that. That's way too loose if it's just sitting like that. You want it, you know, just like this, seated in the bar correctly, and then when you go to pull it up, I like to just be able to pull it up so that you could see, like in the middle of the bar, you could just see the bottom of a tooth. So that's still a little bit too loose. And that's pretty good right there. The main thing is you just don't want anything sagging. You don't want to run the risk of the chain flying off because it's too loose once you go to start it up. And then you always want to just, you know, grab a rag or something and then just make sure that it spins freely. You can see we're spinning freely. So the only other issue that you could be having if your chain is tightening when it shouldn't be is there might be damage to your nose sprocket, which is the piece that fits right in here, and it kind of guides the chain along the nose. So if that sprocket is worn out or something's going on with that, that's damaged, then that could cause tightening where you shouldn't be getting it. So those are the things to look out for. Also, your bar might be warped. So if you do have oil in it and your bar is getting oil and that your chain is still tightening, really your only option is to replace the chain, which I'll put a link on a company called Hypa. They make small engine parts, and one of the things they make are chainsaw chains at really, really great prices. So I'll put their company website in the video description. And then also, you know, you might need to replace the bar itself. But like I said, those are the three main things that it could be: either not enough oil, your nose sprocket, something is going on with your cover, or, you know, maybe your bar is somehow warped or something, causing that excessive heat where it shouldn't be. But those are the main reasons. And if you guys can think of anything else that might cause a chain tightening where it shouldn't be, just reach out in the comments and yeah, let me know whatever you guys think. So yeah, guys, that pretty much sums it up. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out in the comments and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. Otherwise, be sure to like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.